Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, Escape from Transylvania. The goddess next door and John Haynes must escape a horde of vampires on the hunt in this horror-filled Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Escape from Transylvania in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. After reading several articles about the young man who decided to go to his high school in Santa Fe, Texas, and murder 10 of his classmates and 2 of his teachers, I began to realize that when it comes down to many of these boys out here, they're not being taught many of the life lessons that many boys need to learn in order to become a man. And one of the life lessons a boy has to learn early on if he hopes to become a very functional and healthy man is the ability to take rejection. Now, when it comes down to many of these boys, especially a lot of these boys who grow up in these single mother households and these households with beta male fathers, they're often used to hearing the word yes. And they're often used to hearing their parents tell them yes and their teachers tell them yes. And the minute someone tells them no, that's when they have a problem. Now, when it comes down to a boy, he has to get used to hearing the word no. And the reason why he has to get used to hearing the word no is because he's going to hear that word a lot in his life as he grows older. Because oftentimes, in order to survive in this world, you have to learn how to deal with people saying no to you, and you have to learn how to persevere in spite of those people saying no to you. That's how a man survives in the world, because he has to learn how to keep pushing and persevering towards what he wants, even when people are saying no to him. And one of the big problems with many of these beta males out here is that they do not know how to deal with people saying no to them. And this is what happens when a beta male hears the word no. He goes into tears, he goes into histrionics, and he falls completely apart. And that's not what a boy does when a man is sitting there teaching him. What a boy does when he hears the word no is that he learns how to navigate through his emotions. And navigating through his emotions is a boy learning how to feel his feelings about someone saying no to him, but never acting on those feelings. And after he is told no, what that boy does is he builds the discipline, the character, and resolve to move on with his life. And he understands that when somebody says no to him, it's not personal, it just means that that person can't do something for them and that they have to go find another way to solve their problems. Now, when it came down to this mass shooter in Santa Fe, Texas, this young man decided to participate in this mass shooting because a girl he liked told him no. And what he didn't understand was, again, how to navigate through his emotions. Now, this girl cruelly rejected this young man, and instead of him learning how to navigate through his emotions, he took the humiliation personally and simmered and boiled in anger. And as he simmered and boiled in anger, he sat there and plotted to murder his classmates in a quest to get revenge. Now, that's not what a man does when he has a father in his life and a man who he can talk to about these kind of situations. Now, when it comes down to a man who is going to sit down and tell a boy, rejection is just a part of life, and a girl saying no to you is not the end of the world. Now, oftentimes when guys go out here and want to talk to women, they're going to have to deal with a lot of rejection, because a lot of times you're going to have hear a lot of no's in order to get to the one woman that says yes. And when it comes down to a lot of these beta males, they're not used to people saying no to them, because the women in their lives, whether it be their mothers or their teachers, are always saying yes to them. So when they have to deal with a woman who is a part of their peer group, this is where a lot of these guys fall completely apart. Excuse me. And they fall apart because they're not used to women saying no to them. And when it comes down to these guys, because they see the women in their lives like their teachers and their mothers as perfect people, they often expect the girls in their peer group to be just as perfect, and they world build fantasies around those girls. And what happens is when those girls reject them, that's when they start falling completely apart. But what they need to understand is the women of your peer group are not like your mother or your teacher. And you're going to have to deal with those women rejecting you because that's just a part of life. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that she's a bad person. It means that she's not interested in you. And you have to be able to put a period at the end of things and move on because that's just how life works. You're going to have to hear no a lot in your life, and you're going to have to hear no a lot in your life from women. And that's something the beta male has a hard time understanding. And what he has an even harder time understanding is how to deal with that rejection after that person says no. Now, after that person says no, they're not interested, what a man does is he learns how to just move on and he learns how to just move to the next person. But the beta male, because he does not know how to deal with rejection, in some cases, what he'll keep doing is he'll keep trying to ask the same person over and over again, not understanding that the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. And what a regular man does when he hears no is say, okay, she's not interested, I will move on to the next person. And that's how he builds his discipline, that's how he builds his character, and that's how he builds his resolve, because he knows eventually he's going to run into the girl who says yes, and that's how he learns how to deal with situations. Because again, a man has to deal with a lot of no in his life, and he has to learn early on that he's going to have to deal with a lot of no in order to get to yes. And he has to deal with people rejecting him not only in social situations like dating, but he also has to deal with rejection when he goes out here into the job market, because oftentimes a guy will go out here and go on interview after interview, and he has to learn how to deal with people saying that you're not the right person, or you don't fit this job, or we're not interested in you. Or people, when he has business proposals, he's trying to deal with clients, he's going to have to deal with people saying that they don't want his services, and he cannot blow up or lose it because someone says no to him. What he has to do is say, this person isn't interested in what I have to offer them, so I will go to someone who actually is interested in what I have to offer them. And that's what a man knows how to do when he's in any sort of social situation or business situation, is he knows how to deal with people saying no to him. Now, I've learned how to deal with this, people dealing with rejection and people saying no to me since I was 12 years old. And I've had to deal with some really hostile rejections from girls when I was in junior high school and high school. And I really dealt with some really nasty rejections. And instead of me getting upset at the girl or me getting upset at people, I didn't take it personally. I learned how that person wasn't interested and just decided to move on. And the same thing with the job market. I learned that if employers aren't interested in what I have to offer, I just need to move on to another employer. And when I go out here and submit books to different publishers, I also have to deal with a lot of rejection. In fact, if you go into a business like publishing, you're going to have to deal with rejection all the time. And for several of my books, like The Temptation of John Haynes, I've gotten over 500 rejections, and some, like the Cassandra Cookbook, I dealt with 400 or 500 rejections. So eventually it got to the point where I didn't even feel anything regarding the rejections, and I just moved on. And that's something that shows how thick a skin you can build over time, because when you get used to hearing people say no to you, you will build up a very thick skin and you will learn how to deal with rejection. And in some cases, you won't even feel the rejection. And one of the things that guys have to understand about rejection is that in some cases, rejection is a good thing, because Oftentimes with rejection, it not only builds up your character and your resolve, but it shows you who sees you as valuable. And you want to deal with people who see you as valuable because your time is precious. And you only want to spend time with people who value your time enough to want to be a part of your life. You don't want to deal with people who kind of, sort of want to be in your life or kind of, sort of want to help you. You want to deal with people who actually want to be in your life, who want to help you, and want to be a part of your life. And the people who reject you are showing you that they don't want anything to do with you. And why should you want to keep spending time trying to be with people who don't want to be with you? So those people saying no to you are actually helping you when you look at the big picture, because those people who are saying no to you, they are showing you that they are not interested in spending time with you. And again, if your time is precious, why would you want to waste valuable time that you cannot get back in your life trying to chase people who aren't interested, trying to deal with people who aren't interested, and trying to seek the approval of people who aren't interested? When you get rejected, it is not a bad thing. It actually is a good thing, because what it does is it builds your character, it builds your resolve, and then you can persevere and go find the people who actually want to be around you and be with the people who are going to say yes to you. And you really want to spend time with those who want to be with you, not try to keep trying to seek the attention and approval of those who clearly aren't interested in spending any time with you. And when it comes down to the beta male out here, because he does not have a father to teach him these lessons, what happens is he continues to try to persevere with the people who don't want to be around him, keeps trying to fit in with people who don't want to be around him, and trying to find social acceptance with those who don't want him around him. And he can't, and he keeps trying to get those people to say yes to him, when he could take that time and go to those who actually want to say yes to him and want to spend time with him. Instead, what he does is he keeps trying to go to the people who keep saying no to him in the hopes of wearing them down. And what happens in most cases is either they vehemently reject him, or they tolerate him and then use him, take advantage of him, and then eventually just broom him to the curb and treat him like a joke. And again, life is too short to go out here and spend time wasting it chasing people who don't want to be bothered with you. What you want to do is find those who want to be with you and stick with those people. And oftentimes it takes a lot of no's to find those people, and you have to build a discipline and resolve in order to go out here and find those people. Oftentimes it takes a lot of no's to get to the yeses. Unfortunately, a lot of boys out here are not being taught that lesson, and because they aren't being taught that lesson, they're having a hard time navigating this thing we call life. If you'd like to learn a lot more about how to be a better man, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping: Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. It'll lay a foundation for a lot of young men out here who want to learn how to have social interactions with women and how to have functional social interactions with even other men. And it's a great book that will teach you a lot about how to build the discipline and resolve to be a man out here who learns how to deal with social situations and learn how to deal with rejection. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.